Hey there, it's Teresa here. Welcome to another edition of Healthcare and AI. I don't know if you've seen it or not. There has been a new executive order that's come out around AI development. President Biden issued an executive order in 2023 called Safe, Secure, and Trustworthy Development and the Use of AI. That executive order was reversed after Trump took office in January, and he issued a different executive order called Removing Barriers to American Leadership in AI. Now, it takes a different approach than Biden's approach. Why? It's looking to take away a lot of the rules that might slow down AI innovation to promote the US as a global leader in AI research and development. Two different regulatory philosophies here. The 2023 order, it's focused on balancing AI's rapid growth and the need for safety, privacy, and civil rights protections. What it pretty much says is we need a set of rules to ensure that AI doesn't harm anyone, that it respects people's rights. So it requires some risk management. It requires testing tools and checking for biases in the algorithms. The newest order that replaces that order is really about taking away the rules that are stopping innovation and basically says that we should do everything to avoid burdening businesses with too many regulations. And let's innovate fast. So it's telling the federal agencies to remove or to rethink those rules that might hold back AI development. When it comes to equity, civil rights, and public engagement, the first order had really honed in on the fact that we need to protect civil rights and promote equity. And it did instruct agencies to watch out for discrimination, especially if AI was being used to reject things like loan applications or to skew healthcare decisions. The new order does not focus on those types of issues. What it's doing is it's more focused on boosting private sector innovation. At the end of the day, both of those orders recognize that stakeholders like hospitals, universities, businesses, advocacy groups, everyday people should have some sort of chance to weigh in on this. And the government, they want feedback on the comments from the public. And this is where you come in and why I'm talking about this today. So why does this matter to healthcare? Healthcare tools rely on AI. We need systems that detect diseases or allocate patient resources, and they'll most likely undergo thorough testing, kind of like what we do with EHRs. Right? The Department of Health and Human Services would monitor AI for potential biases or potential patient safety risk issues. Having those types of checks and balances ensures that AI diagnoses and recommendations are trustworthy. Under the new order, we might start to see an increased rollout of these innovative AI treatments or diagnostic tools because we're reducing that red tape, which is good. But the risk is that we might not have so much formal oversight or testing requirements for any of these AI tools that hit the market. So both approaches have pros and cons. It's really about how you weigh the benefit of innovation against the need for patient protections and fair access to care. One of the other things I want to talk about is the decreasing role of federal regulations and then the increasing role of state applied regulations. So while this new order really is trying to eliminate federal red tape, we do have states like California, Colorado, New York starting to advance their own AI regulations. So if you're an organization that operates across multiple jurisdictions, you could face inconsistencies or even conflicting rules from state to state. And if your business touches AI in any way, you're going to need to stay ahead of all these state level requirements. Second thing that's going to come out of this is that we need to start talking about industry self-regulation. With the federal government taking a step back, the burden really does start to shift to private sector stakeholders to help us to implement reasonable AI practices. This self-regulation, it does offer flexibility, but it also raises a risk. You're probably going to have more strict federal or state regulations coming down on you in the future if we as an industry don't show that AI can be handled responsibly. We're going to see more opportunities for public-private collaboration. We're going to see more additional funding or partnership programs coming back on the horizon, which is really beneficial if you are in research or development or deployment. This really is a crucial moment for you and I as industry participants to have our voices heard. The Office of Science and Technology Policy, OSTP, they put out a request for information on the AI action plan that was named in this latest executive order. That RFI is going to stay open until March 2025. And this is where stakeholders like you and I, from startups to established organizations, this is where we start to participate in this RFI process because for us, this is a chance that we have to shape our future guidelines and avoid potentially unwelcome mandates down the road. I've worked on other government funded projects where we took the responses from public and created roadmaps and helped to structure policy. So I know that it works and it works well, but we have to have voices at the table each and every time. So, how do you get your voice heard? As we started to walk down this road from the 2023 order, if you are a business in healthcare industry policy, whatever, make sure that if there was something that you didn't like in the original set of guidelines that were put forth, then this is your chance to change them. There's a link down here to a PDF. It's a template to include your response. I'm trying to remove as much friction as possible, make sure that you get your voice heard. I don't care what part of the industry that you're in. AI is real, it's here, and it's going to have a definite effect on our lives. So I really want you to be involved. 7 key takeaways. We got 2 different philosophies. We've got safeguarding testing versus innovation with fewer restrictions. Number 2, we've got these healthcare implementations. Are we going to hold to super rigorous testing and oversight for healthcare AI? Or are we going to push for some speed and flexibility in this? Number 3, your participation. Both of these orders ask for your participation. And so it is really important that you do participate in this process. Number 4, watch for those state regulations because even if those federal rules are pared back, states will implement their own AI regulations. You need to know about these. 5, strengthen your internal oversight. To keep ahead of any future regulation, you're going to want to establish good internal AI guidelines. You want to have auditing procedures. You want to make sure that your measures are very transparent, however you're using it. Industry self-regulation isn't just good citizenship. It really hedges against heavier interventions being laid upon the industry later down the road if our self-governance fails. Number 6, keep an eye on for funding opportunities. Whenever we have had deregulation in our country and in industries, what happens is the market reacts, and it has always reacted in a certain way. And you'll see this similar type of programming that's going to start to reappear. You're going to see it moving again. Look for opportunities for collaborations, for grants, RFPs from agencies, and look for an increased funding from philanthropic organizations. And number 7, I want you to engage in this RFI process. If nothing else, please respond to OSTP by the March 15th, 2025 deadline. This is a direct channel on how we can have an impact in this industry. Think about risk, competitiveness, ethical considerations. These are the frameworks that we need to be looking at. This is where we should be providing guide rails and input from industry because nobody knows our work like we do. And we walk that talk every single day. And we need to have our voices heard. So I'm calling on you to step up and do some civic duty here when it comes to AI. Have a good one. Catch you guys here again next week on the flip side.